Hey there, friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ryan Schul. I talk about all kinds of data science topics and different machine learning methodologies and all kinds of stuff related to that. So in today's topic, I want to talk about how to potentially funnel customers from awareness, which is the basic level where they're just being um, first introduced to your company or your product or your service, all the way to actually making a purchase decision. Okay, so if you have somebody that has some exposure to your business, whether it's healthcare, some kind of retail sales, some kind of hospitality, it doesn't matter. Like somebody could have exposure to some ad, you want to convert that customer to an actual paying customer, or the potential viewer to a paying customer, right? So how can we do that? I'm going to show you a couple of ways today, and this is just one way. By the way, there's probably, if I think about it, probably at least a few dozen ways to do this, maybe hundreds, or maybe even thousands of different ways, and all kinds of different scenarios. But I'm going to show you like just generally how we can do this. This would be like the standard way to do it, and I'm sure there's all kinds of custom designs that you can add in. Okay, but basically we want to take a potential customer and funnel them into becoming an actual customer. That's the goal here today. Okay, so we have to identify bottlenecks and drop-offs. Why would the potential customer never convert to an actual full-blown paying customer? Okay, there could be pricing concerns, lack of follow-up from the sales team, product information is not clear, right? So the customer gets lost or confused. We want to improve conversion rates. Okay, we want to personalize the marketing and the sales efforts, right, and make it very customized to the end customer, right, and engage with that person very intimately. So we want to allocate resources efficiently. You want to save money, you want to save time, of course, enhance customer experience. You want the customer to enjoy the experience, whatever it is, right, and come back for repeat business over and over and over, not just be a one-time one and done kind of experience, right? Predicting revenue and forecasting growth for your company. That's a big one. Conducting A/B testing. So that's another use case. I have a video on that. I think a couple of videos at this point on that. You can check that out on the channel. And optimize customer retention and lifetime value, right? So LTV, it's abbreviated LTV, and the conversion basically isn't the end. Again, you want to try to convert the customer today, but you want them to come back for repeat business over and over and over. Okay, so I put together this code down here that shows you how to do the entire analysis. I got the data source from here. So it came from Kaggle. You just download it from this button down here. I put the URL link in the code down here at the bottom of this Jupyter notebook. So first of all, we have to import the data, right? So let me do that. Control Enter. I like to click on these if they don't take too long to run, just so you can see the interaction here. And you can see I didn't like somehow just copy and paste some stuff in here. This is all live. It's real running in a live environment. So this is what the data looks like. The things that we're going to focus on here is time spent, minutes. That is interacting with whatever this thing is. So this could be a website. This could be a bunch of different things. TVs now can capture viewers sitting in the room, and they know the viewer is actually watching the show, or there's nobody in the room and nobody's watching the show. So this could be person in front of a TV, on the website, any number of different things. All right, so this is time spent in minutes. Pages viewed, so this is probably a website type of example. I don't think you're viewing web pages on your TV, although maybe, I mean, that could be too. The lead status, this is hot, warm, or cold. Hot is better, right? Cold means like the person probably will not engage with your product. And then over here we have conversion. So if it's 0, it's not currently a customer. If this is a 1, this is a current customer that made a transaction with us. Okay, so again, download the data, run this to import the data into your Jupyter notebook. That's what it looks like. And we can define a few basics to the funneling experience, right? So awareness, how aware is this customer of your brand? That's important, right? Interest, is the customer actually interested in you, or are they just clicking on websites randomly and they happen to come across yours? So anybody that spends 45 minutes on 46 minutes, whatever this thing is, 42 minutes, is probably interested in your product, right? There's an interest, but you can see for this row right here, this person is actually not making a purchase because we have conversion 0. So they did engage with the site. They visited a total of 8 pages, but they didn't make a purchase, right? So there's some interest, but no actual transaction there. Consideration, okay, so the customer shows deeper interest through actions such as downloading resources or actively engaging in the content. There's finally an intent to make a purchase, right? And then there's an actual purchase if the customer is funneled from the top all the way down to the bottom, right? So we have to get into the funnel and go down to the end and make a purchase. Or the customer doesn't use the product or service and the business doesn't get the money, right? So the first thing here really is to define some basic business logic. And this is it has nothing to do with machine learning or data science. It's just basic, just putting together a little bit of logic. I'm saying if conversion is 1, this is a purchase. We just saw that in the data frame. If lead in status is hot and time spent in terms of minutes is high time. Okay, we get the high time over here and low time from this time percentile. So we have like an upper threshold and lower threshold, 33 to 66, and page percentile, again, 33 to 66. So how many pages are you clicking on and how much time are you spending on that website? That's what we're trying to define, how like close a customer or a potential customer is to becoming an actual customer. Okay, so some more business logic. Time spent less than high time and page count low, then there's some interest but not huge interest. If the time spent is low and page count is low, there's probably some awareness, but that's it. And awareness could be called an impression. An impression is just an exposure to something. It could be just maybe 1 second, just a few seconds, maybe 5 or 10. It depends on how the business defines these impressions, but it's going to be a very short interaction and probably no action on the part of the potential customer, right? So there could be a lot of awareness, there could be a lot of impressions, but no actual customer conversion, right? So let me run this cell, and we see the time percentiles over there, page percentiles. So low is 6, high is 11, and low here is 23, and high would be 41 minutes, okay? So we can take that and do a simple calculation over here, just basically one line of code right here. Funnel data is relative conversion rate. This is the funnel count divided by the total leads, okay? And I can show you the data if you're interested in seeing this stuff. Where is it? I think I put it over here at my desktop. Actually, yeah, I think it's right down here on my desktop. Shut this down just for a minute. Don't want to get too distracted here, but let me just show you. You could have done this in Python too, and then you think about it. Okay, so here's the data source, and here's all the records here. So we have 26,145 records, and then of course I showed you in the data frame what that looks like over there. So this would be the entire universe, right, for all potential customers. And what are we actually converting into an actual customer here? You know, I don't like to look at this. Let me change this thing real quick. That is, oh, that was that. Okay, so I go out of here. I think that is fine. Closing brackets. Okay. Okay, so we're going to calculate the, or show, we're going to display the visual here of what this graph actually looks like. Okay, and here's the counts over here. So we have awareness, 95 people became aware. Again, you have to look at the logic to understand this. It took me a little while to figure this out too. And this is what I came up with. I think this is pretty close to some type of meaningful standard. But again, it really depends on your data and your specific needs, how you define this. So awareness is low time spent and low page count. So awareness is basically some very, very simple exposure. Oh, it didn't like that. Shoot, what happened here? But I went outside, so let me try it again. That's fine. I was just trying to expand the chart. That's weird. Why would it not? 0, 0. 500. Okay, try that. Oh, it doesn't get it because it's too far in. Okay. Try this. I think think this should work. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. Okay, so we have some awareness over here, not a whole lot. And then interest, 574 people fall into this bucket of interest. Consideration is 24,293. Intent to make a purchase is 770, and purchases is 413. And again, if you look over here, right, this would be the conversion. If I filter that, 413, right? Let's get the 1 on there, 413, I count it. 413 right there. You can see the sum down there. So, so that is fine, right? So that's how these numbers come from. And you have to look too at my notes, relative conversion rates, measure the percentage of leads that reached a particular stage compared to the total leads, okay? And since multiple stages may contain the same leads might end up in the awareness bucket, in the interest bucket, then consideration, but the value isn't always 100%, okay? It's probably going to be close to 100%, but it will not be 100%, okay? So they can end up in slightly different buckets and go into a couple, but not make it all the way through. Obviously, there's only 413 purchases out of, what was that, 24,000 or 21,000? At least that number of records in their data set, right? So that's that, and this is what the chart looks like when you plot it. So you can see most of the people make it into the consideration bucket, not too many are awareness, because again, we define that as minimal time minutes spent on the website and minimal pages viewed. So I think this totally makes sense. If your business logic is a little bit different, then you have to treat that differently, right? But I think in this given scenario, that makes a lot of sense. So here's the findings overall. Awareness is very small. We just saw that, right? So 95 leads and the awareness is fine if most of your leads are already engaging and showing interest, all right? So real life scenario, your data may not include leads who have only seen ads or marketing emails but didn't interact, okay? And this can happen if your data is primarily data from people who have already interacted, visited web pages or submitted forms or something like that, okay? When awareness is larger, you basically include websites visitors who don't engage with the website, right? So if you just treat awareness as an impression, just visiting the website, like everybody did that, okay? So if that's how you want to define it, that's fine. The awareness could be pretty high. I'm saying there has to be at least some activity, a couple of minutes. If your definition is just clicked on the website, then in that case, awareness could be 100%, right? It really depends on how you define it. I'm saying to become aware of this product, you have to have whatever the threshold was over here, at least 6 minutes, right? And not more than 11, right? So that goes over here. So it really depends how you set up this problem and what this final solution will look like. Total interest is moderate. This number is only 574. This is a good sign that the website or platform is keeping people interested. Of course, higher is better. So consideration is pretty high. We have 24,000 in consideration. In this case, this is the largest funnel stage, okay? Again, depending on how you define the problem and set it up and execute it, yours could look different from this. I think this is a good baseline. I think this is a very good start. And interest and purchase are reasonable. There's 770 leads in interest, 413 purchase out of 27,000 total leads. So that's about conversion ratio of about 1.5%. So again, depending on your business, is this a good number or is this not a good number? It's hard to say. Like in this case, I think this is okay. If you would see a lot more interaction in terms of time or pages clicked, and this number is pretty low, I would be more concerned. Like, are people getting lost? They're not sure what your product is. Sales team is not doing a good job following up. Maybe marketing team is falling asleep. I don't know, but you really have to test this in a couple different ways, I think, and come at this with a couple different lenses and different perspectives too, and then define, is this number good? In this scenario, I think this is good. But in your business, that could vary widely. That could swing widely. So next, I want to try to set up a machine learning algorithm and train it and test it and see if it can predict for us which potential customers are going to convert and become actual customers. So remember, at the beginning, we had this business logic right here, right? So this definition right here, this user-defined function controlled this this right here, also this, right, accounts that we have at each conversion level, and then the funnel. Now we're going to try to get a little bit more sophisticated and train a machine learning model here, a classifier model, to try to make predictions which customers are going to convert. Sorry, I keep saying customer. Which potential customers are going to convert into actual customers. That's what we're testing for here, okay? So I ran it. It's about 98% accurate. So 98% of the time, it's going to make predictions that match up with actual numbers, right? You always have a train set and a testing set. Here's the training testing, right? And the test size is 0.02, so the training size is 0.8, and that's about it. I have several videos on classification models. If you don't understand that, that's okay. You can take a look at the other videos. But this one is a solid 98% accurate, so I'm pretty happy with these numbers. I can proceed and go ahead and create probabilities for every single person that is not a current customer. So I'm saying if conversion equals 0, that is a not, this is a non-customer. Okay, so these are converted leads. I am going to go ahead and figure out the probability, again, based on this classification model that I just set up. What is the, this is our model. Okay, based on this model, you can see how it connects here, right? So here's the model over here, trained, tested, making predictions, okay? That's how we can get all the detail in this chart down here, because it's making these predictions for us. We're going to take that model that we just trained and just tested, 98% accurate. That's a very decent accuracy. A little bit higher would be nice, maybe 99. If it gets over that, I might be concerned about other things. Is there data leakage? Is the model overfitting? In this case, I think it's totally fine. We're going to take that model and make predictions for every single customer in our list. Now, when I run this, we have the probabilities for every customer. Sorry, I keep saying that. Every potential customer to become an actual customer. Okay, I'm getting the top 10. These are the top 10. So at this point, we can reach out to the salespeople and say, listen, follow up with lead ID 24340. They are 34% likely to become an actual customer, right? We have to find out what is preventing them from making a transaction or a purchase for our product or service, whatever we're trying to sell, okay? Customer 18106. And you can see how the data is anonymized here. So it's anonymous. You can look that up, but we're not getting people's names and addresses. That's called PII, personally identifiable information. So for the data scientist, you shouldn't care who is 18106. It doesn't matter, right? But the salespeople could have a key to convert that into an actual phone number, address, first and last name, things like that. But for the data scientist or engineer or machine learning expert, there's no need to know that. You shouldn't know that, okay? That's PII. So we can contact these 10 people and probably convert these 10, or at least a few of these 10, to actual customers, right? And you can see this is ascending, equal false. So this is in descending order. If I put this to true, you would see the opposite. You would see all the people that have no chance of becoming customers, right? These are all zeros down here. So I wouldn't even waste time with them. They're not interested in the product for whatever reason. They're not engaging. And that's totally fine. These people over here are on the fence. So that's who you should be contacting, right? And we can do a feature importance exercise to see which features have the most statistical impact on the target variable, which is conversion, right? So if you're wondering, of all these features, what should I dial in? What should I fine tune? What should I work on or improve on my website to convert these potential customers to actual converted customers, right? So conversion is the target that we're trying to reach, and all of these have a statistical impact on the target, and this one has the highest impact, right? So social media engagement, this would be number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I have 15 or 10. What is it saying here? I don't see the number. I think it's 10. I think it's 10 because we have the head of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, I think it's 15. But where is it getting that from? Oh, you know what? It's everything. It is. Okay. So sometimes if I have a lot of features, I'll just take the top 10 or top 15. This one I'm taking all of them. So it's all of these features over here. All right. So I change it for this model. So all these features, which ones contribute most to converting a potential customer to an actual customer? It's the social media engagement. So you have to level up your game a little bit here, level up your game a little bit here, time spent in minutes on the website, and response time in terms of hours. If you can control these three factors, that is going to add up to, you have 15, 16% over here. Oh, 18%. This is another 17. So those two about 36. And this one is another 14. So right there you have like 50% of your features are in these three buckets. If you can improve these and level these three features up, then you can engage with the customer more effectively and convert that potential customer to an actual customer. Okay, so there you go, from start to finish, beginning to end. That is how to funnel a potential customer from awareness to actually making a purchase with your enterprise, with your business, with your firm. Okay, that's pretty much it. I am going to wrap it up. Hopefully this was a good one. I learned a lot putting this together. Hopefully you guys learned too. That's why I do these things, to help people to learn. And by the way, I'm trying to monetize this channel and make money on this. I would like to be a full-time YouTuber and just come up with interesting problems to solve and actual solutions for all of these problems, and then showcase it to you guys. So hopefully the channel is successful. It's getting up to a little over 900 viewers now. I think getting kind of close to 1,000. My birthday is April 7th. I'd like to get 1,000 before my birthday or on my birthday. That would be a nice little present. But is it going to happen or not? I don't know. We'll see. But I'll try. I'll try. That's for sure. Okay, that's it, guys. I'm going to post a video in just a bit, and I will share all of this code with you as well. Okay. So thanks for your time today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.